question.
Either way, welcome back to
think...
Zany Talks.
What?
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Goodbye.
No, we already lost Logan.
Oh.
Butter's at work. We can't talk about
And
this now.
Toothless isn't
Okay,
here.
no, yes, we can talk about convergent zones.
Yay!
The relic tombs.
Yep, so building off of a way later portion of our previous conversation about the book series, The Beginning After the End.
Bonus chapter.
Yep. Eventually, the main character ends up in an area known as the Relic Tombs, which is it's just a series of levels of different rooms or locations.
Zones.
Yeah.
If we want to get all of the spoilers out of the way, as we're going to need to for the discussion.
So the relic tombs,
They're...
what it appears to be, on the surface, what it appears to be, is almost dungeon-esque of different zones, which basically are almost like whole self-contained worlds that the main character and also an entire civilization of Alacrians have built their civilization around, of diving into these relic tombs.
Getting what relics and treasures they can and getting it out.
Economy, social structure, power, strength.
When you jump from zone to zone while going through it, however, it doesn't always... It puts you in a zone that is suitable to your skills or power, your strength.
And if it needs to, it will restructure, power scale the zone to your power.
If there's a stronger person there.
Mm-hmm.
So the way they had a specific, I guess, I don't know if it's a relic or an artifact that they used to go from zone to zone, or if that was something they actually invented and designed, simulates.
Both relic
so that basically it's just something that each person in your party could hold, so that when you go to the next zone, you're all guaranteed to go to the next one instead of going who knows where, who knows what.
I think the simulates were a byproduct of something found, discovered, recreated.
Similar to dimension rings.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Where each other dimension artifact is effectively made by breaking down and splitting a original
quite. I think they're more of something that was reverse engineered, not something that was hacked apart.
Okay. But all it basically does is guarantee that you and the other people holding one key to, I guess, the original, go to the same location. There are specific zones in there which are called convergent zones, which guarantees that a whole bunch of people will group together to get through this.
Yes, so they are zones, chapters, pages, designed to have multiple people go through them to clear them.
Yep. I think I have a reason as to why those zones exist. The relic tombs were designed with a very specific purpose in mind, which were to allow certain people to go through certain zones to reach a certain area.
Also, that's not kind of. Relic tombs, in essence, which is a huge spoiler for the end, so click away now. If you should have already clicked away already. Come on, guys.
Butter, you're not
Read the
allowed
book.
to watch this one yet.
Read the book.
Yes, he is. He's been going through the relic
Yeah, but
tombs.
he's not on book 11.
He's not to this point yet, where we find out that the relic tombs
Not through the 4th.
is not supposed to be a dungeon to be delved and stuff. It is a way of the race who built it, the Jinn, to pass down their knowledge and insight.
This was discussed in book 7.
Not to this extent.
Yes.
No. Okay. First of all, book 7, no. Book 8, no.
Okay. Yes. Sorry. Not book 7. Book 8.
Still
a little bit.
No.
Yes.
This is where they put their insight, but it was not to this extent or this type explained. The way he understands the Jinn is very surface level because he doesn't really trust what he's being told for a while.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, this is where they put some of the stuff that they wanted to learn, but it's also locked down from other people. No, it is their life work, their insight put into different zones, into chapters, into pages. Mm-hmm. This book of insight that you have to go through the zone to learn.
Yeah, because insight cannot be taught. It has to be discovered.
Yes.
Mm. But specific zones are meant for the descendants of the Jinn. Because you,
So yes and no. There's I don't. There are
All zones were probably meant to it, but some train certain aspects of their abilities and their innate features, and they're not going to put a youngin that they're training basically through a gauntlet meant for a veteran.
so
You don't have the qualifications, so you can't.
then why does it detecting ether specifically send you to specific zones?
Because
it
you have
did
the
it when he went through it. Starting with the first time he goes through, he was sent halfway through his way to one of the four. In part, I would believe due to the
method of which you
activation
got
of
there.
the will, the method of which he got there, and that will as well as his own will. The millipede zone
Yes.
is a good example of what you're saying, though, because Kara's brother having the ether dagger, so on and so forth.
Yep.
That's
I think comes down to matching skill in a weird way. I don't actually think that that zone was designed specifically for ether wielders,
no.
given all of the very clear non-ether wielding.
I mean that zone. The millipede zone. You can pass through that zone
With mana.
without fighting.
Yes.
It is an ecosystem, and that's probably where the lesson is.
Also, one thing that I believe was kind of touched on this by the fact that before he could navigate the zones and when he was just blundering through it like everyone else. I believe each zone. Think of it like a tree. You have the first and second levels that are static.
Yep.
And then you have that first portal, the ascension portal.
Yep.
And then it branches out, but each zone connects to another. It sends you down a trail, and where those converge is a convergence zone.
Yes.
But otherwise, if you somehow manage to go through this starting zone, the next zone would be the same. And the next time you go through it would be the same.
No.
More difficult, but the same.
No.
So it shouldn't be.
It doesn't
impossible-
function that way because otherwise they wouldn't need simulants.
It shouldn't be possible for you to go into the same first zone again.
Yes,
naturally.
that's what I'm saying.
If
But
you,
if you think about his mental map that's was left to him.
yes. So to
This is the start.
the four are specifically set out. There is a path. Like you can't just jump to the end.
Yeah.
I believe that's because to get to the second one, you need to have the knowledge of the first.
Okay.
It still comes down to the relic tombs adapting. So you've learned the lesson of the previous room. It's very vague off of the first one just because even the first keystone doesn't actually take that much for you to get there. Most of the trial of getting the first keystone was just satisfying curiosity.
Yeah.
It specifically ended when he was able to manifest a god rune, but that was not an unexpected result.
No. The God rune happened because
Spatium. He is very inclined to Spatium.
very inclined to spatium and the fact. No, that wasn't the first.
No, but the trial ended after
He had
destruction.
He had the structure of how it should work, and then figured out how to implement his newfound abilities, wielding ether, into it, and through that, just that knowledge of how it should
Okay,
work.
are
and
we
look.
talking about the first keystone or the
God
first
rune.
God rune?
God rune?
Okay.
I was saying the first keystone. The trial for the first keystone was completed upon the manifestation of Godstep.
Yes. Or I don't think that was the completion of the trial. It just happened to coincide.
Yes.
So just went through this myself. The apparition had said that your strength, your physical body, all great, but your control over ether is rather lackluster and unrefined. And then he stepped through Godstep and said, "Is this refined enough for you?" And then the trial basically ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how it went. But I don't think the acquisition of the God Rune was set for the trial to
No,
end.
because it was not expected.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it was the control over ether that was the manifestation of the God Room that satisfied the trial's requirement.
Yeah.
Or curiosity, or both. Who knows?
And again, for anyone who hasn't read this book and you made it this far through this weird talking, go read the book and then come back, please.
But yeah, what I was trying to point out is that there do seem to be specific zones that are specifically for train that you can only enter after learning
Yes.
certain aspects.
Which we see after the first keystone is acquired. His first
Yep,
true
not even
ascent,
not even unlocked. The keystone hasn't even been unlocked. He just has it in his possession.
Yes.
which we've
but
also seen ether itself.
contains memories, contains
Yes.
knowledge.
That
So
his-
even by
his
having
dimensional
something
storage is a part of him and is
Yeah.
seen as such
Yes.
which you see in the very last thing when he when
in book 11. Yes.
yeah.
But also in the mirror room, which is a better example of what you're saying, as every single ascender who went through there had some ability to
manipulate
manipulate ether.
At that
Avum,
point in
actually.
time, though, it
Avum
didn't.
specifically.
At that point in time, though, it didn't matter because he had acquired basically the ability to choose whichever path he's taking wherever.
Not the
he's
mirror
going.
room.
No,
No,
not
okay.
the mirror.
Okay.
Mirror room 1.0.
Okay. Oh, mirror room. Yes, 1.0. Yeah, everyone who went through there, except for the people who were traveling with them, and therefore had a simulant
Yes.
that he was attached to.
Yep.
It brought them to a room that was built for him specifically. Not him specifically, for the keystone. and
For the
knowledge within it.
abilities he has the potential to manifest.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Which
It-
abilities that are yes, but I also think that so he's the step right before getting it. Yes, but I also think it does have something to do with the fact that he has the keystone on him.
Yes, no. It saw the potential for the Avum.
I think the keystone itself was what it saw, but
Yes.
it saw it as a part of him.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it saw it as a part of him, he sees the
don't-
Relatum saw him as having the potential of the answer.
I think the keystone was the answer. I don't think it saw the potential for the answer. It saw the answer and him as one.
Yes,
The
but
keystone was incomplete, though.
The keystone
so
was
it would have
incomplete,
seen
but
only the potential
keystone
for the answer.
is a relic of knowledge.
Correct. But it doesn't
Relic-
hold the answer because
what
it's
I'm
incomplete. It
saying
holds
is
the
it
path to the
saw the potential of the answer, the potential for the growth,
either way.
and that's why we see like the one main example we get is the ascender that was trapped in the mirror that had the dagger
Yeah, the nail. Yeah, keep going. I don't
nail.
remember.
It
I
looked
think
like
of
a
it as
rusty
nail.
nail at first, but it's a
Yeah,
dagger.
it's a dagger, yeah.
That once it was exposed to a high level ether, it rewound itself basically into a shiny dagger, which has the potential of Avum.
And that's the main direct example we're given. Everyone else has another example, but
Yes. But the point I was trying to make, winding it back a bit, the Jinn, if I remember correctly, weren't capable of manipulating mana. They could manipulate it through through ether. They could.
I honestly don't remember.
It was never pointed out directly.
I don't know if we know whether they manipulated mana to manipulate ether or manipulated ether to manipulate mana.
But there are specific zones for people who are able to wield ether, and then there are zones
Yes.
which anyone can enter.
Yes.
What is the purpose of any of those other zones? If they only wanted to be able to pass down their insight to those who had the capability to learn how to do it, why make any other zone that isn't going to...
I think that's why the second keystone exists?
Second keystone is Rumheart.
Yes. Okay. So the second keystone exists to bridge that gap. It is the relic tombs is designed for both because
And it
the
wasn't
second-
just the knowledge they wanted to pass down. It was their life's work, their
Yes.
knowledge. They wanted
to
their
future generations,
society
whether
to exist.
whether to future Jinn or just to future civilizations.
Yep.
So long as they're not
Specifically not.
Assyrians.
Then
That's
there's
right.
no real question about why do convergence zones exist. It's a part of their life's work. It's a part of something they want
Yes,
to accomplish.
but what is the lesson of a convergence zone?
It brings both sides together, those wielding ether and those who are only capable of wielding mana, forcing them into the same zone.
You also got to think, in the Relic Tomb's attended design, there is no such thing as a simulate.
Yes.
Correct.
You have a whole bunch of people going in, and they're facing their own individual trials, and now you're bringing them together to face one trial.
They did, yes. But if the relic tombs are designed to bridge both gaps, convergent zones make a lot more sense because it would force both sides together. Both those who who have been going through the paths that offer insight into ether, and also those who can't. They're just working through it. They didn't have simulates, but they very clearly did have a way to guarantee that everyone was going to the same place with the one relic he found, which allows him to change the destination of a
The
portal.
compass, yes.
The compass.
Which the
Yes.
compass, I don't know if was intended for future generations. It feels
It
more
was
like
a
a
tool of
construction.
construction.
I do
feels
agree.
like
I do
scaffolding.
agree. Yes.
And to clarify, I don't specifically think that the relic tombs were meant to bridge the gap between mana and ether for those who can use it and those who can't. I think the second keystone was designed for that specifically, for an individual to learn that.
Yes.
And they didn't even completely understand it.
Yes, the keystones were not.
The second keystone was incomplete. Their insight
the
on
first
Realm
keystone-
Heart
Yes,
was incomplete.
yes, because it didn't have a name.
No, it did have a name.
Oh, right, but it was
The knowledge behind it was incomplete.
Because the dragon-
Arthur understood it more.
because he's experienced it.
Yes.
Yep. And the first keystone was something that, when it was given to him, this is what it is. I think this is what it was called, but it was something that not even I could finish.
So it was a puzzle that
Getting
the
insight.
giver had not completed.
Yep.
But it was some amount of the jinn, whether it's individual or group, had to have made it, put that
Yes.
together. Which is Rose Requiem.
Arthur's insight was incomplete because he couldn't grasp it under the situations.
Because
that
his affinity for Abram sucks.
Well, that's another thing. But also, he was kind of Russian.
He was, yes. He would have had to take more time.
Yeah. But his insight was incomplete, but the knowledge behind it that he could understand was.
Yes, the jinn who had,
This ether art was complete, was packaged properly.
it just was not compatible with him.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, Realm Heart wasn't exactly what the second keystone wasn't exactly what I was talking about or wasn't what I drew the mention of.
Bridging the gap.
Bridging the gap. It was the fact that you said that they made this as their life's work to be passed down to
Any
future generation, both ether wielders and those who can't wield ether. And they very, very clearly wanted to be able to have everyone coincide and work
Coexist, yeah.
together. So convergence zones do make a lot of sense in
It
that.
makes sense for that, but I also, it doesn't feel like the right answer because so many times you've had convergence zones are a known thing before Arthur goes to the relic tombs.
Yes.
There's a very minor amount of Balacrians who are known to have been able to use ether.
Yes.
So there have been pure mana convergence zones.
Example,
Correct.
the relic
And then
armor.
there would therefore be pure mana zones. So, and also that one was a pure
Until-
mana until he entered into it, and it drastically changed.
Because his power was.
And that doesn't change whether it was mana or ether.
No.
That just changed how hard the enemies were
Yes.
in that zone.
Correct.
So the solution was
The
neither-
solution does not require ether most of the time.
I think the
With that argument is yes, there are pure mana ether zone or convergence zones. There are pure mana zones as well. And if the pure mana convergence zones don't make sense, then the pure mana regular zones don't make sense either.
I just don't. I don't think that then bridging the gap between mana and ether is the answer to them.
Based on what we know of the Jinn, I think it actually makes a decent amount of sense.
Actually,
I think the answer I had come to, and the answer I always just kind of dismissed because I thought it kind of sucked, was just it is meant to have collaboration between people as they were a peaceful race trying to build civilization. But
Which, I mean, is very similar to what I'm suggesting, but instead of just collaboration between people, collaboration between ether wielders and mana wielders.
Yes.
Also, there does have to be some sort of prerequisite for a convergence, for a bunch of people to enter into a convergence zone.
Because otherwise you would just have one person in there at a time, which is weird.
There have been known occurrences of people being in there at one group.
Yes, the first group going in there,
Yeah.
which opens the group.
Yes.
Which, if I had to guess on that specific convergence zone, it would have been Kara's group. They had been in there for weeks, that we know.
Yep. But
Also,
time
the
is weird.
fact that time works differently in the Relic Dooms. You could be in there for 2 minutes, and then another person could come through, and they were in the previous. Yeah.
I feel like that would have been noticed, but maybe not. Maybe it accelerates other zones to.
Time works differently compared to the outside. We don't have
Yes.
any reference between different zones.
And every time it's translated to real time, it's always rough translation because it's not consistent. You know that. Interesting. Either way, that makes sense. The blood relic one is another interesting one.
The Blood Relic one, in the Jin's point of view, because we know why the armor was there.
Yes.
We know who created it, and we know why, according to the Jin, it shouldn't have been.
Made. It was
Yeah.
locked away.
And because the Jin are the Jin, they're not going to make something so permanent. I mean, like everything they put in place has an answer.
Yes.
Yep.
There is always intent behind creation, otherwise they can't create because
There's no intent.
they use intent to create.
Yeah. So that zone is literally here. It was a shrine, a shrine to what was it? Fealty. The runes translated in the book.
I don't remember.
Futility?
Futility.
Yeah.
I think that's what they said.
Ah, okay. So the original message and the excuse for making the zone would have been simply an example of why not to fight.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
And the only way to unlock this creation that was made to fight. It was a tool. It was a weapon of war, but not a weapon of armor. But also a weapon because
Spill the blood of those who have spilt our blood.
yes.
Yep.
Blood of thy blood.
Yeah, I
we
don't
go
wanna
for that
remember the exact-
translation. Basically, hurt the ones that hurt you. Everyone's dead.
The requirement to unlock something that shouldn't be unlocked was so hard for them because it's not clear in the wording as to whether it is to spill the blood of someone who has betrayed you
Or spill the blood of someone who has spilled your blood.
or spilled the blood of someone who has spilt Jin blood.
Yes, it.
We have solved all of those at once by
Just based on how everything was going in that zone, I think it's pretty clear that it's the second meaning because I feel
'Cause
like
they would
they
have
would have
probably-
they would have already.
the
Accidentally.
amount of blood that was shed.
Yeah.
They probably would have unlocked it
Yeah.
by then.
So
Which is near impossible for them to unlock given Alacrine versus. We don't know that. Oh my goodness, don't remind me. We'll get back to that in a second.
there are no emitters.
Are no emitters or were no emitters?
Are currently no emitters because of so much mutation.
Yes. The Jin blood should have been extinct. It should be a locked up thing that cannot really be unlocked. No Jin would unlock it except for select few who would have gone out fighting and just died.
Yep.
I can think
there
of
is
some exceptions, but
Yeah, there are some exceptions.
well, Arthur being one of them.
no, I'm thinking more pure than even him.
Yeah, I know. That was what I was gonna get to.
You don't talk about them
We
yet.
like Jewel.
Yeah. Any.
Elder Ren Kane the Fourth to the abode of the Leywin family. I'm sure you will find many things here to complain about.
I love that line. Anyway, basically, kill those who have harmed the Jinn is what
Yes.
we've come to the conclusion of. And being there's a part Jinn there who is Arthur, and the fact that he's not very easily killed.
Yeah.
Stab me, I dare you.
We then get to you know,
That convergence zone is the one that makes the least amount of sense.
it's made out of spite.
yeah.
It's made out of spite, but there is no reason not to pass it.
Yeah.
The entrance is just finding
Because
the exit.
the Jinn are too. They're very strong in their rules, and you can. Oh, the trial that was held. What?
Oh, the trial he sat in on.
Which was the fourth keystone to get to the fourth keystone. Because the third keystone was stolen. He went through the trial to unlock the fourth keystone. Was not able to use the fourth keystone. Correct.
Yeah, not for quite a while.
So.
You hurt his head. Too many voices.
Yeah. We get a glimpse of how the Jinn lived and their system.
Everything's dedicated to their life's work.
They have a dedicated life's work. I assume that they choose their own life's work. Once they choose their life's work, they are kind of dedicated to it.
Yeah.
And to break their life's work is criminal. Which is kind of just culture shock, I guess. Because as Arthur says, why can't I change my mind? Why can't I work on something else? You dedicated yourself to this. You are to finish this project. But
Which is, quite honestly, just shows you how the Relic Tomb came into existence.
Yeah.
we see in the first keystone there are runes that are designed to channel ether, to strengthen their body to handle the burden of ether. They have the insight of how to manipulate ether, but it is never clarified as to whether it is mana or ether that they are using to manipulate ether. Given their insights of ether, though, I would argue they manipulate ether directly.
I want to say that they're physiological. The point of fact is that in the Relic Tombs, there's not only an abundance of ether, but an abundance of mana.
Yes.
In a place, in a void that is completely made up of ether.
Yes. Within a pocket that has been used to control ether that I believe existed before the Jinn.
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
So they simply tapped into an issue.
Yes, but what I'm trying to get at is, in that space, mana is not natural.
That entire space is not natural. The
Yes.
life, the death, the mana, even time, everything ether is not natural
In that space, yes.
in that realm.
Yeah. In between space. But given that, I feel like in some aspect they need the presence of mana. Just like the Asuras, their body feeds off mana. In that same kinship, not only do they need food, water.
They
air.
would be Asuras then.
No.
The reason Asuras are so strong is because of that.
What I'm getting at is that in some way, I feel like they have a direct link with mana. Maybe not to that extent, but maybe. What are their cores like?
That's my question, because they don't have ether cores, meaning they can't directly manipulate
But they
ether.
knew what an ether core was when he saw it.
He's been inside his mind.
Fair.
I'm convinced that they have to manipulate mana, which means I've changed my mind already, because they don't have an ether core. They can't directly manipulate ether.
But all the runes utilize ether as well.
Yes
the runes in
and
their
no.
ancient civilizations.
Some do, some don't. Some runes are made just to strengthen their body to handle
No,
ether.
I'm talking external runes.
Spell form,
Yeah, spell forms.
including it was confirmed by the first that some of them were just to handle the burden of
Actually,
ether.
no.
Which I think his ether core and his Asuran physique is what bypasses that.
Yes.
Yeah. Thinking back, the Jinn have been on this the Xyrus, the Flying Castle, all created
Yep.
by the Jinn.
Yep.
The humans, elves, and dwarves are able to utilize these. They have no clue about ether.
Yes.
But we get into the sanctuary, and the lighting artifacts there are powered by ether.
The glow of the lights. Yeah. Yes.
So by just that, it seems like they can do both.
I think they have natural insights into ether and
Uh-huh.
then can use their mana to manipulate ether.
Yeah, because as we've seen with the Legacy, it works both ways.
Once you have the insight into ether, it works both ways.
Yes.
Um,
Or are able to exert such a will over the mana.
yes. Ooh. They
Do you
are.
not remember the stabbing?
Well, I remember the stabbing. The problem is, are then Jinn all mini legacies?
They're all on integrate phase. They don't have core.
They were the first. Cecilia was the first legacy in countless generations to reach assimilation. I do think that there were Jinn that reached assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there were that many. I think there were several that still had cores.
Hybrid mana ether core.
No.
No, it was the Jinn didn't have ether cores for sure. Mana cores maybe, but
How far into the true nature of ether do you think the Jinn truly understood? Ether being life, death,
Everything.
everything, time, what has lived, what has died, what will live, what will die, what will happen, what has happened,
What has
is,
existed.
what isn't.
What is. Yeah. Everything. I don't think to that extent.
yeah, me neither. And I do think that's a pretty good point at which we cut off the episode. So
So if you made it this far, I hope we intrigued your mind a bit, and I hope you didn't sit through this without reading the book. Go read the books, the beginning after the end.
You're not going to know what we're talking about till book 8 at the best. And then
Get
by
the
then-
background, then come back. You
but
know.
then you're too far in to turn back. So
Yeah, you made it past book 7.
congratulations, you started a new book series.
Yeah, and then you reach book 11 where everything gets explained and you're confused more.
And then you can come back here
Yeah, and then you can actually
and talk
understand
to
what I'm
us.
saying.
Yeah.
You'll meet the mouse. And then we'll talk more.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, and keep it zany.
So long.